Greetings again, everybody. This is Dr. Jonathan. Sometimes I feel like I should reintroduce myself as new people come on. You can check out my website, jonathanellerby.com. I've written a bunch of books. The most successful or popular were Return to the Sacred and Inspiration Deficit Disorder. Return to the Sacred was very much about understanding spiritual practice and finding the one that's right for you, whereas Inspiration Deficit Disorder was very much about how do we create transformation in times of change. And so that might be interesting for some of you who are going through some unexpected change these days. We're getting together at 12 o'clock Mountain Time, USA, for about 12 minutes every day. And sometimes it's like 16 minutes, sometimes it's 13 minutes. It's never less than 12 minutes. And my goal with each interaction is to offer something of value. And whether that's spiritual perspective or just some really practical tools, like I think yesterday it was, we did habits, using this time to break and create habits. My hope is that there will be something of value for you and for the people you know. Today, I'm going to suggest we start with a little breath, slow down, and we're going to dive quickly and deeply into the topics of forgiveness and gratitude, but more specifically, why these two things need to work together. And I think that a lot of us today, particularly people in quarantine, but people in self-quarantine, people whose lives and businesses are being radically affected by this pandemic, are dealing with some difficulties around these two words. How can we feel grateful when there's so much to be afraid of, and so much is not being handled well, in the opinions of some? How can we forgive when we sit at home and in our boredom or lack of things to do or distract ourselves with, we find ourselves reviewing the past, mistakes people have made, mistakes we've made, people we're not connected with anymore, and people we have difficult feelings about. So that's where we're going. But first, let's sit comfortably wherever you are, but alert. I'm going to encourage you to close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Don't worry about any perfect technique, just a big, and then something like a sigh, just a big relief. Big relief, big release. Feel yourself slowing down and settling down immediately. Life may be less full and slower than normal, but busyness is of the mind. And so you may be quite cluttered and distracted in your mind, despite how simple life has become. So let's use this moment to slow down and settle down. When you breathe out now, I'm going to encourage you to breathe out as long as you can until your stomach muscles contract. Refreshing breath in, and then a long extended exhale. Stomach muscles contract. Refreshing inhale. And then listen inside yourself for stillness and silence. Feel this is the place inside you that remains in all things, the still, silent center point of every atom, every stone, every car, every chair, every person, every butterfly, every blue whale. When you connect with your own stillness, you find a place that's united with all life, and that place can never be taken from you, no matter what is going on in the world. So staying with this stillness, I would like to share a little writing by Mary Oliver the great, wonderful Mary Oliver, and it's called Forgive Me. Angels are wonderful, but they are so, well, aloof. It's what I sense when I'm in the mud and the roots of the trees, or, well, the barn, or the rock with its citron map of lichen that halts my feet and makes my eyes flare, feeling the presence of some spirit, some small God who abides there. If I were a perfect person, I would be bowing continuously. I am not, though I pause wherever I feel this holiness, which is why I'm so often late coming back from wherever I went. Forgive me. So what I love about this reading is that it opens us to this conversation about appreciating life on one hand, gratitude, and recognizing that it doesn't always go as we'd like. And what do we do with that? For a lot of you who have explored personal growth, psychological well-being, spiritual growth, you've heard a lot about forgiveness and gratitude. So let's take a moment to kind of recap some of the core lessons around both, and then more significantly how they work together, and we'll get all this done in about 12 minutes total. So forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of those things that we've heard about, and yet when it's up for us, when it's our topic, our challenge, it's not always as easy to remember what it was we were supposed to remember. So the first principle of forgiveness is to remember that forgiveness is primarily not for the one you are forgiving, it is for yourself. So for example, if you're sitting in this quarantine or self-quarantine or something like that, and you're reviewing mistakes of the past and people that have wronged you, or things that didn't go well, or the government not doing things the way you want them, or whatever it is. The idea is that resisting forgiveness does really very little to them. It doesn't punish them. It doesn't teach them. What it does is it robs you of energy and focus. So the first lesson is forgiveness is for yourself. There's an old saying that was attributed to Nelson Mandela, probably wasn't really, but it said something like, not forgiving someone is like drinking a poison yourself and expecting the other person to suffer. So forgiveness is about moving to feeling and release. It starts as a decision. If you wait, and this is the second principle of forgiveness that I want you to keep in mind, is that if you wait till you feel like forgiving, then you probably won't forgive. I mean, obviously, something has happened that was difficult or hurtful. No one's trying to take that from you. But not forgiving is perpetuating and even exacerbating the pain. So don't wait till you feel like forgiving. Begin as soon as possible. Begin immediately. Let forgiveness start as a decision, like a behavior. And then, from forgiveness, you, in your own time, in your own way, can move into feeling. Feelings don't really want to be acted on, meaning emotions, reactions. They don't want to be acted on, but they do want to be felt. And that's the third step. So first, it's for you, not for others. Second, don't wait till you feel like forgiving. Let it be a decision. And third, remember you need to feel to heal. So even though we are letting go of what was done, letting go of the person or the situation, it doesn't mean we don't have to feel. We do. We do. And the final step, the final opportunity, which is a pretty big one and not something we're all ready for, is to remember that at some level of our existence, we can see, we can feel that nothing needs to be forgiven. Because the very energy of forgiveness, the very idea of forgiveness is rooted in a kind of dualistic praise and blame model of life, right and wrong. Now, here's the important lesson around that. Just because I'm saying that forgiveness is rooted in a divided dimension of yourself and ultimately is unnecessary, right, to even perceive wrongdoing, it doesn't mean that we're talking about a life in which we promote, tolerate, or endorse hurtful, wrongful, or violent behavior. Now, when I use those words, hurtful, wrongful, violent, I'm really talking about outcomes. I'm not talking about your ideas of the way that things should be or people should be. I'm saying if someone has literally betrayed you, literally abused you, it doesn't mean we're saying that was a good thing. We're just saying that we're ready to let it go. We're ready to feel it through. And we're ready to move to a relationship to life in which we realize that all things are happening to all people. Pandemics are not new on this planet. Crisis is not new on this planet. We've been through stock market collapse. We've been through depression. We've been through drought. If you look around the world, so many communities and cultures have been through things like this and worse. War, genocide, all manners of disease, disability, and disaster. So we forgive. We forgive so that we can be free to feel, to learn, and move on. And this is what takes us over to the topic of gratitude. So we're around 12 minutes now. We're going to go for a few more minutes. Gratitude has been heavily studied by psychologists and sociologists as one of the most potent attitudes and, you might say, emotions to elicit a healing or positive neurological effect. When we are in the, as they say, attitude of gratitude, or are even meditating with memory and feeling about things we are grateful for, we find that our reactive limbic activity shifts into the frontal cortex. We find that the reactive sympathetic nervous system shifts to the parasympathetic system. Now, this isn't just about managing the body and the stress of the moment, although that's important. But we also find that when people are oriented around gratitude, the next step, just like forgiveness leads to feeling, is that gratitude leads to learning. That being grateful for whatever we have, even if you're trapped at home and you've lost your job, the very fact that you still have a home, that you're able to watch a video on the internet, is something to be grateful for. You have eyes that work. You have ears that work. You have the ability to receive something that's coming from somewhere else in the world that could potentially enrich your life. Whatever you've got, you have something to be grateful for. And you are certainly aware, especially in this moment of human history, that there are many people with less. There are people losing loved ones, losing livelihood. There are whole communities in chaos. So whatever you have, no matter what's been taken away, no matter what pain is arising, find that attitude, that intention of gratitude, so you can begin your day, punctuate your day with a mindset that seeks resilience, opportunity, and learning. When we combine gratitude and forgiveness, we see that they are very much interconnected. If we can see them as two wings of one bird, we'll find an extraordinary power in our lives. Because that means that where there is a need or a feeling that you need forgiveness, bring gratitude. Yes, even when someone has hurt you, betrayed you, gratitude for what? Find it. Gratitude for survival. Gratitude for another chance. Gratitude for what you can learn from that. Gratitude for what you can share or give from that. Gratitude for the way you will not let that wound or hurt or harmful experience keep you down, but instead compel you to appreciate every day, to appreciate what you've got and to learn from it. And the same thing goes with gratitude, because if we're going to be oriented around gratitude in our lives, we must do so in an open-hearted, real-minded way. And what I mean by that is the attitude of gratitude is not meant to pretend that everything is fine the way it is. Where there is gratitude, let there also be the energy of letting go or forgiveness. I'm focusing my attention on all that is well, all that is good, all that I'm grateful for. And I am also aware, in honesty, in authenticity, that some things suck and that some things hurt and some things aren't going my way. And so I will hold that while I'm in my gratitude. It's interesting to know, as a final note, that when you are in the contemplation or meditation of either gratitude or forgiveness, bringing the awareness of the other will empower whatever it is you are working on. If you are here with me today and you're thinking of someone or something you need to forgive, start by connecting with a feeling of gratitude in your body. When you have that feeling in your body, then you can look at that topic, that person, that challenge, and notice how you feel free to hold it differently. You are more powerful than anything that's been done to you. And in the same way, if you're doing gratitude practices every day, allow yourself to own the things you keep in your shadow, to own the things you don't want to admit or feel, with forgiveness, with acceptance. Not that you're tolerating it, not that you're promoting it, but that you bring your whole self to each moment, each meditation, each prayer, each practice of your day. So, our time is definitely up. I hope this was helpful for you. You're always welcome to review the videos later. They get saved. You can share them with other people. That would be great. I'd appreciate that. And don't forget that on the Althea Center Denver Facebook page on Thursdays, I do an 11 o'clock hour-long message with questions and answers. On Sundays at 10:30, this is all Mountain Time USA, I do a gathering, an online gathering for the Althea community and beyond. And we do meditation and prayer messages and then a shorter question and answer. Friday of this week, if you're watching this, it's March 31st. Friday of this week, I'm going to be doing an online paid course or class, 90 minutes, on the divine lessons from quarantine, looking at the lives of saints and shamans. If you want to know more about that, go to the altheacenter.org webpage, look up classes, and of course, if you want to know more about me, you can go to drjonathanellerby.com. And I encourage you to stay tuned, because in about a week, I will be releasing a new book for free. That's right. As well as an audio collection and another course for people around the world. So there's lots of good things happening and great opportunities to enrich our lives, even though together we may be in a time of great distress, discomfort, and uncertainty. The power to turn it around is yours, and forgiveness and gratitude will take you a long, long way. So thank you, and I'm shutting you off.